everyone. Welcome to our live session of today. I'm really excited about this. So first of all, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Laura Loza. I am a clinical psychologist and a certified yoga teacher. And today we are going to talk about something that I think it's fascinating and it's actually very useful because it is something that affects all of us continuously, and it's sleep. And it affects all the aspects on your life. And what we're going to be talking about building a nighttime routine that actually works. And we are going to use something called the habit stacking, which is to create a lasting dale. Okay, so this is to create, of course, a lasting, how can I tell that? A lasting nighttime routine that can create longevity and that can create freedom for your life. And here's what I mean by freedom. By freedom, I mean waking up at 2 a.m. with your mind racing with 1,000 thoughts, or maybe freedom from relying on alcohol to wind down, or freedom from wanting to improve, but still like habits not sticking, and noticing that that evening glass of wine is not working and you are not sleeping well. And today we are diving into the neuroscience and the psychology of habit formation and the practical tools to start using tonight. So first of all, I want to talk about something that I think is very important to understand, and it's that our body runs in two biological systems that determine whether you sleep tonight. And the first one is the sleep pressure, which is kind of, let's say, like a battery. So from the moment you wake up, there's a chemical that is constantly building up in your brain. And the longer you stay awake, that chemical accumulates in your body and it creates something called like the sleep hunger. So for example, it happens when we move, we get hungry. The same thing happens when we are awake for a long period of time. We get tired. So that's the first thing. That's the sleep pressure. And I want to make a little parenthesis. And it's like, now, if you rely on alcohol to fall asleep, and what is actually happening is that the alcohol creates a sedation, and it's actually not a sleep aid. So it knocks you out and fragments your sleep and your sleep architecture. So your body metabolizes the toxins, and it has to work overtime, really. Your liver has to work overtime. And this happens instead of creating that regenerative sleep. And that's why we feel sedated and we don't feel rested after a night out drinking. And there's a massive, massive difference between the two. And then a second force would be that there's a circadian rhythm, which we've heard about multiple times. We've seen people talk about it, and it's actually our 24-hour internal clock that is controlled by cortisol and melatonin. So shortly after you wake up, your body releases a jolt, like a tiny bit of cortisol. And this is not the cortisol that like we kind of talk about when it's stress cortisol. It's more of like alert cortisol. And after you get that first jolt, you will have 12 to 14 hours later that the pineal gland releases the melatonin, which we know that it's that signal for your body to wind down and to sleep. And there's something that is very important to be said about these two very important forces, is that most of us have the systems desynchronized. And it could be by waking up at different times. So on the weekends, you're waking up at 10 a.m., but on the weekdays, you're waking up at 6 or at 5 because you need to be working out before going to work. Or maybe it's because you stay late staring at your phone, or the first thing you do is just like wake up and grab your phone. Or maybe it's because we drank coffee at 4 p.m. and it blocks the production of melatonin when it's so close to sunset and starting to wind down. So there are many reasons. Also, light is a really big factor. We usually have lights blasting, like I have a light blasting right now, and we have overhead lighting and everything, and it wakes us up. And all these things make us desynchronize our two main systems. So for many of my clients, they come to me and they say, well, I can't wind down. So I have a drink and then another, and then I kind of pass out. And then I wake up at 3 a.m. My heart is racing, I'm sweating, and I can't fall back asleep. And what I really want to ask is, like, does this sound familiar to you? Because it happens to a lot of people. And we can say that the first thing is like not a sleep problem. It is that your biological systems are misaligned, and because it happens, you are using or clients are using sometimes substances that work against them. So it's a common myth that we're kind of debusting right now, that alcohol helps you sleep, which it really doesn't. But there's a good news. So once you understand sleep pressure and the circadian rhythm, you can work with them and not against them. So that's the main thing. And then we also need to talk about something that it's like, okay, we have all this knowledge about the two forces that we are working with. But I read all about it, and all my past attempts have failed of how to get a better hygiene. And I'm going to try and maybe guess, and you've read all about the articles, you followed all the steps, you are turning off lights and everything, but it really didn't work most of the time. And maybe that habit lasted for a week, or maybe it lasted for a day, or maybe it just stayed in the thought of like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed earlier today. And it's because you try to use only willpower to help you build that habit and to help you build that sleep hygiene. So when we only use willpower, that is one of the weakest tools that we've got for behavior change. There's a doctor, Dr. B.J. Fogg, whose research is very clear that what really works to build a habit and to create new behaviors, it's that it's important to do, it's to make them small, to make them easy, and to make an emotional reward after doing or having the behavior. So let me share like an example, and let's name this person Maria, and she used wine to fall asleep every night. And you really, or we can't really tell Maria to completely cold turkey, like quit. That's not the way. But we can ask her like, oh, what's one tiny thing that you can do after dinner to make you feel good? And let's say that this person likes the smell of tea. And what we do is, okay, after dinner, you are just going to boil water. That's it. You don't have to do more. Just boil water. 3 days, you just boiled water. And then you can pour that water into a tea bag. 3 days. Drink that water or that tea in the kitchen. Okay, maybe take that tea into the couch. 3 more days. Little by little, you're stacking into habits. And let's say within 2 weeks, Maria created a beautiful ritual that she could look forward to. And she started to associate the time of finishing dinner with something being very pleasant, which is the ritual of the tea time. And it's so beautiful. And we've talked about it before here. Rituals are something that makes us human. So when we create something and we fill it with meaning, it creates an emotional response. So what I said, it's small, it's easily accessible, and it creates an emotional response from us. And what this example exemplifies, it's really habit stacking. You are anchoring a new behavior into an old behavior. So to an existing one, right? Let's say. So the new behavior is so small that you really can't fail. And every time you do it, you are getting that emotional reward. And this is called the shine, which is celebrating that tiny win of what if you said to yourself, like, okay, I boil water. I'm proud of myself. I'm building a new pattern. Little by little, you celebrate those tiny wins. And we tend to be very tough on ourselves. And that's what I see day to day with the clients. We tend to be very tough. So celebrating those small wins, it's also recognizing that you are creating action and building something that could last for you and could create health. And there's also a critical point on this. Consistency is really everything for our sleep schedule. So our circadian rhythm really thrives on predictability. So that means waking up at the same time and going to bed at the same time. And yes, that even means the weekends. And that's tough. I know, like sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to wake up at 6 a.m. on a weekend. Like it's not enjoyable. But what we can do is reframe that. What we need to think about, it's like, okay, I am giving myself the opportunity to align the two systems that work with me. I'm working with my body. I am understanding myself, and I am understanding what is going on within me and working to build better habits rather than, oh, it's tough and I don't want to wake up at 6 a.m. And think of it as a consistent wake up time. It's really not punishment. It is about freedom. And in a way, it's telling your body what to expect. So it's letting your body build the ritual so the body can go from fight or flight into rest and digest. And that is a beautiful gift that you can give yourself. So think about this reframe, and maybe it could create something different, and maybe you can get excited about having a wake up time and going to bed around the same time. But after all of this, I really want to get practical with you, because we're starting something like very important that will affect all the areas on your life. And one of the most important thing is to take care of light. So your eyes are are designed, and they contain specialized neurons that communicate directly with your circadian rhythm. What that means is that they respond strongly, like very, very strongly, to sun and to wavelengths of blue and yellow. So what that means is they respond very strongly to sunrise and sunsets. And one of the first habit stacking that you can do is view sunlight within 1 hour of waking up. And it could be from 2 to 10 minutes long. And it's something very important that we got to talk about, because it's like, oh, like I got sunlight through my window. It's important to be outside. Looking through a window, it's 50 times less effective than going outside and being exposed to the light. So being exposed to the light can anchor you into your morning. It can give that cortisol boost, or the cortisol jolt that we need to wake up and to set the timer for 12 to 14 hours for the melatonin to kick in and release. And something that you can do to make it easier is to pair this with an existing habit. A lot of people, and I know a lot of Americans, the first thing that they do is drink a coffee in the morning. It's something engraved, and it's like, okay, after my coffee, I will step outside for 5 minutes and drink my coffee. That's it. Just make yourself the coffee, go outside. You can also say, okay, I am going to walk every morning to get my mail from the mailbox, and to check my mailbox and see. Walking that 2 minutes can create that light exposure that we need. And what I said, it's something so simple. It's something so small, but it creates a big, big impact for you and for your sleep cycle. And the other thing about light is a second habit that you can start making for yourself is maybe try and see the sunlight around sunset. So after I finish work, I will take a walk. Or maybe on the drive home, once I park my car, I'm just going to stand outside, decompress. So this is also letting your eyes know, okay, it's getting dark. It's time to start winding down. A third habit that you can do around light is you can dim your lights after 8 p.m., for example. So it creates an environment, and it's like a cave-like environment. And I don't mean like, oh, you have to live in darkness, but it's more, don't do overhead lighting at night. Try to have lamps around, or with safety, try to light candles. And this can help you out, like, of course, not activate those neurons in your eyes. And it can help you understand that warm tones can induce a little bit of tiredness and a little bit of sleepiness. And there's another thing that I really want to mention, that sometimes I feel that I can be the bearer of bad news, but it's also like, okay, maybe we can rephrase that. And it's like, okay, let's work on this together and create new habits. And it's screens. It's very, very important that you lower the light of your screen, or the brightness, use nighttime mode, or keep your phone at arm length, or maybe in a different room. And maybe you can say like, okay, after 9 p.m., my phone goes to charge in a different room, and that's that. And I know that for some people, it can be a little bit tougher. For some people, it can be a little bit easier. But for example, for clients that are trying to moderate their drinking, not being in their phone can be very life-changing. And when I say this, it's because The first habit that a lot of people have when they're bored is that they start to scroll. They start to go through different social media, and they start to compare themselves, or they start to see like what type of life other people are living, and they start to feel restless. And maybe the thought is like, okay, a drink will make me feel better, or um, I'll do something else. It's 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 immediate, it's automatic. And when you say to yourself like, okay, I'm going to keep my phone arm's length, I'm going to keep it in another room, you are interrupting that automatic pattern. And maybe you could habit stack it in a way that, okay, I'll plug in my phone to charge for the night, and I'm going to make myself a herbal tea. And that is a little tiny thing. You always plug your phone in at night. You have to. It's one of our work tools, right? So, okay, maybe I'll add this into the mix. So it's like building blocks. It's like putting little by little building up to something. And what I said, it's something so small that it's so easy to make, that it creates this idea of like, I did something for myself. And I've said it, for example, with making the bed in the morning. It creates you like, oh, I achieved something easy. I achieved it. The same thing happens at night. So I want to be direct. And a lot of people come up to me and say like, okay, but Laura, I sleep so much better after drinking. You are really not sleeping. You are being sedated. So there is a world of difference. And what's actually happening is that the first phase, you are sedated a little bit. It's like alcohol makes you drowsy and you fall asleep. But a second phase would be the fragmentation, which is hours later, your body's trying to metabolize all the alcohol, all the toxins, because alcohol is being treated by your body as a toxic substance, and your liver is working overtime. So the sleep becomes fragmented, and you're cycling in and out from a light sleep instead of getting that deep restorative sleep. And then the phase 3 is the rebound, which alcohol suppresses your REM sleep. And it could be, and especially because it could be where you process your emotions, where you process your thoughts, where you process what happened throughout the day, and you consolidate memories. So when alcohol wears out around 3 or 4 a.m., your brain is it's really trying to catch up on its REM sleep. And this is why you wake up feeling like your mind is racing, that you're feeling anxious, and that your head is going to that conversation that you had 5 years ago and what you should have said. So the truth is that alcohol doesn't really help you sleep. It just delays the moment. And when you learn that, or when you learn this, you learn that having a calm nervous system is the most important thing. And there are many things that you can start tonight to build up to those habits of having a calm nervous system. So let's build this out. Let's build a nighttime routine that actually works for you. And remember that it's tiny, it's easy, and it's very rewarding. So the first thing is to anchor yourself to a consistent wind down time. So pick a time, it could be 9 p.m., and you anchor yourself to that time. And it could be an existing habit. For example, I finished cleaning up after dinner, and my new habit is I will dim the lights. This, you can do this for 3 days. You can do it for 4 days and celebrate it every time. Remember, stay consistent. Then a second step would be replace the drink with a ritual. So, okay, maybe instead of drinking alcohol, I am gonna hit up some water and do warm water with lemon, and that will help me digest. Or I could do a herbal tea. I could do chamomile or valerian root, or maybe I could do sparkling water and I'll put a little bit of juice on it. And this could create and can mimic the thought of like, oh, I'm drinking something, but I'm drinking something that will help me sleep. That is sleep hygiene right there. And we can habit stack that. It's like, okay, finish dinner, I will dim the lights, and then I'll make myself a cup of tea. And then we have a third step. It's engage with your body. It's important to know that you cannot control your mind with your mind. You can manage your mind through your body as well. And your body is the first tool that you had to just communicate. And it's sad that we lose touch with our body. So regaining that consciousness of, okay, I'm connected with my body, it's something very powerful. And one of the steps that you can take, it's having a different type of breathing. So one of them is a physiological site, which is you inhale through your nose and then keep it for a little bit, hold, and then inhale again, shorter, and then exhale through the mouth. So when you change that pattern, because we're always breathing in, breathing out, that's what we do. When you change that pattern, it actually gives your brain, it's like, okay, we're breathing differently. We're not fast-paced breathing. We are entering a safe place, and I can switch off from fight or flight into rest and digest, which is so beautiful. Just through your breath, you can do that. And this shifts what I said from an activated nervous system to a rested, calm nervous system. So back into habit stacking, as we said, finish cleaning up after dinner. I boil the water. I make myself a cup of tea. Sorry, finish dinner, dim the lights, boil water, make a cup of tea. And then after that, I will sit on the couch and I will do my breathing. There's another way that you can connect with your body that I think it's so beautiful. And they teach us a lot of it in yoga. It's through tension. So you can practice a full body scan. So you can notice the tension in different areas in your body. The first area that gets a lot of tension, and a lot of people don't know, is the jaw. Like they're clenching their teeth constantly. Or maybe the shoulders. They're always like up near the ears. And they tell us like, okay, to let energy flow, you gotta be open. Bring those shoulders down. So you can start by noticing the tension in your jaw, in your shoulders. You can notice the tension in your hands, your belly, your legs, and then consciously release it. So coming back to habit stacking, finish dinner, dim the lights, make myself a cup of tea, sat down on the couch, did my breathing, did my body scanning. It feels very like a progression, and you little by little are building onto this. Step 4 would be make your bedroom sacred. And I cannot stress this enough. Your brain is an association machine. It's always making those associations. So your bed should only be for sleeping and intimacy. No phones, no laptop, no computer, not eating in the room, not working in the room. If you're not falling asleep after 15 to 20 minutes of going to bed, you should get up, go to another room, and do something calming. Read a book, light stretch, or something that will help you wind down, not get your phone. So what we think about is like, okay, I've been here lying down, staring at my ceiling for 20 minutes. I'm not going to fall asleep. Let me just start scrolling and let me just like grab my phone. Your room is sacred. So get out of the room and try a relaxing activity. And like coming back to what I said about the room, you really do gotta optimize your sleep. So it's very important to know that you sleep better when it's a little bit colder. Just remember that last time that you were like super, the environment was super warm and you were tossing and turning. No, like you gotta keep it cold. So the temperature should be around 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. And then darkness is also something very, very important, which is, for example, getting really good blackout curtains or having a way to black out the windows or covering up the electronic lights. I know, like, sometimes it's not much, but when everything is dark and you see that little tiny dot of red that the television has, it seems like a lot. It seems very bright. So trying to black out or cover those lights. And it's very important to have a quiet space. So either get yourself some earplugs or you can have a white noise machine going on. So it's very important to prep the scene. It's very important to be ready. So back into habit stacking. Did the dinner, cleaned up, dimmed the lights. I made myself a cup of tea. I went into my breathing. I did my body scan. I am feeling relaxed and I put my phone away. I am going to make my room. I'm going to set the stage, you know, I'm going to set the stage for having a restful night. And these little things are won't add up much, like time spent. It's actually, you can do it in 20 minutes. You can do it in less. But it's more of like creating that ritual for you. So your body knows it's okay. It's time. It's time to start winding down. It's time to release that melatonin. It's time to get sleepy and to rest. So it's so important that you have an accountability partner or you can have a community behind it. And that's where unconscious moderation comes in. So if you've been thinking about transforming your relationship with the habits that you've been having, especially alcohol, and you are not getting a restorative sleep, but the traditional approaches really don't hit the mark, it's because they've been working through willpower and they've been working through the conscious mind. And we've known for a while now that only around 5% of our thoughts or our cognitive activity, it's fully conscious as decision making, which makes 95% of our activity being unconscious or automatic. So this behavior also includes the reaching for that nighttime drink. And this behavior really originates underneath the surface. So while your conscious mind wants to have a better sleep, your unconscious mind often makes the decision around 8 p.m. to have that glass of wine. So the unconscious moderation app will work with you through the unconscious mind through 3 science-based approaches. So the first one would be hypnotherapy. It activates the relaxation response that we've been talking about, and it creates that moment of deep relaxation and complete, I would say, maybe meditation, and not for you to think like, oh, I have to put my mind to blank. That doesn't work. Your mind is meant to think, but it's more of having a guided meditation. And it helps you to understand that your nervous system can calm down. Then another tool that we have is journaling, which it uncovers the unconscious through asking yourself different prompts. So for example, you are writing down like, oh, I feel like I need alcohol to fall asleep. And why is that? And maybe it could be like, hey, I think I don't deserve like really good sleep. I didn't reach my goals. I didn't feel like I gave my 100%. And there you have it. You have one of the reasons. It's like, oh, really? Didn't I reach my 100%? Maybe my 100% looked differently. And it's okay. I do believe that I need rest. So little by little, you understand your unconscious thoughts and your unconscious language. Then a third tool would be through movement. So we give you 5-minute session that will generate the dopamine and the serotonin that you're actually seeking for through other substances, but you're creating it naturally through movement. So it's so wonderful, and it's a beautiful tool because it also creates sleep pressure. It generates more of that chemical that will kind of like, in a way, drain the battery and make you feel tired and wanting to go to bed. So the unconscious moderation app works in a 90-day journey. So the first month is no drinking, just clarity. So you are discovering what sleep really is like without alcohol and without fragmentation. The second month would be moderation, where you are making the conscious from awareness and not from autopilot, and you are feeling like, okay, maybe I can moderate here. I'll drink until certain time. I'm not going to drink late at night, or however you feel like, and you're making the compromises with yourself. And then the third month would be the reinforcement. So you are reinforcing those new patterns, that awareness, that consciousness, and you are transforming the unconscious, really. So the app, the Unconscious Moderation app, is available in the Apple Store and Google Play Store. And it's really important that you know that transformation really do begin with understanding and not just willpower. So now you are understanding a lot of things. You are understanding that you have two forces that govern your sleep. You have the sleep pressure and the circadian rhythm. You know that alcohol fragments your sleep and that willpower alone doesn't work, but tiny habits do. You also know that those little tiny habits, you got to celebrate. Start small, be consistent, and celebrate. And here's what I want you to do tonight. Just pick one habit, the one that stuck out for you. And maybe it could be viewing the morning sunlight. And especially during winter time, I think it's so important to get out at least a little bit. Maybe it could be dimming the lights at 9 p.m., which it's actually what I'm going to do after we finish this live session. Or maybe it could be making tea instead of pouring yourself a glass of wine. You can start doing it tonight. You can start doing it tomorrow. And you can continue doing it for 3 or 4 days. And then you add up another thing. You stack them up. And you gotta celebrate those wins. You don't need perfection, but you do need consistency. And you don't need to do this alone. And that's why the app is here for you. If what we talked about today clicked for you in any way, and the Unconscious Moderation app is here to help you out and to support you. And we help you rewire those unconscious patterns and create a lasting change from the inside out. Stay conscious, stay free, Thank you for joining today's live session. And I really do hope you sleep well tonight. Goodbye.